Welcome to the Fixer interview series. I have Laird Hepburn. He is a business partner here at BSG Advisors with myself, Justin Struble. How are you doing, Laird?
I'm doing great.
Today we're going to be talking about small business retirement plans.
One of my favorite topics.
Absolutely. But before that, how'd you get into financial planning, personal finance? What got you into this business?
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Do you want to know that? You want
The short version. We don't want to be here all day.
The short version is God called me into it. That's the short version. I did a decade on active duty as a Navy pilot. I did a decade or so doing management consulting, and then really felt like I needed to make some changes for the sake of my family and our well-being, and looked around, and as I kind of looked over the past, I saw that I'd been doing things related to it for 20 years, and people sought me out and things of that nature, so decided to make the jump.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, small businesses, retirement plans, are there certain types of plans most small businesses should be thinking about? 401ks? Are there any others that are out there that people...
Sure. I mean, if you're a small business owner, one of the things to think about is, why do you want a retirement plan? Do you want it to build wealth for yourself? Do you want to use it as a recruitment or retention tool? Are you using it because you're thinking of tax deferral, right? So it may not be that you really want to do something right now, but you just don't want to pay so much in taxes. And so when you think about those kinds of factors, you begin to come into some design considerations. And I happen to prefer the 401k as a tool, but there are defined benefit pension plans that can be used in certain organizations. The Simple, the SEP, they all have a place, but figuring out what the right one is has a lot to do with how big is the company, what's the payroll, how much does the owner get paid versus other highly compensated employees, how much generosity does the owner want to show towards the employees versus keep it for yourself. So those are all considerations.
Is there a critical size a company needs to be at before a 401k makes sense, or number of employees, or does the owner need to be one?
We have a number of individual 401k plans. These are for people who they're basically solopreneurs. They're providing services. They make a good income, and it's really a matter of, let's defer the taxes on this, let's build some wealth, and so we're going to drop it into a 401k, and they can stick close to $60,000 a year into one of these things. And that's just one person. It actually gets more difficult when you have 2, 3, or 4, because of the rules about how you have to share. And so if you're a solo employer or a solo operation, 401k may make sense, but once you get employees, this is where all the design considerations come into place.
And that's where you may have additional administrative costs and things that may make sense with a solopreneur, but may not make sense if you have 2 employees.
Correct. That's exactly right. And in general, my view is that you really don't want a 401k plan unless you have at least 10 employees.
Okay.
But that's just a general rule. It really goes back to, what is the owner trying to accomplish? Because if an owner can accomplish setting aside 60 grand for themselves in a tax deferred account, and that the cost of that is some administrative burden and sharing of the profits with employees, it may be worth it to that employer.
Okay, makes sense. Are there a lot of companies that just don't have 401ks that probably should? As an owner of a business, is it just, I need that just like I need my workers' comp, or is there a value add to the employees, or why should somebody do it? Is it simply just to defer the taxes?
It's that thoughtful process of figuring out not just why you're in business, but how are you going to get out of business? I mean, we're all going to leave business at some point. You and I are going to leave this business, and the question is how am I going to be okay no longer having an income? Where am I going to build wealth separate and distinct from the business? And so that becomes the thing that has to motivate that. It can't just be about taxes. It can't just be about rewarding employees. Those are important considerations. It really has to be about the unavoidable reality that we're all going to leave our business at some point in time.
And it's just preparing for that.
It's preparing for something that is a certainty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like life insurance, huh?
Kind of like life insurance. You are going to die. You might as well prepare for dying.
All right. Are there any gaps in the market where you say there's just certain types of companies that just overlook 401k plans that should be thinking about it?
Well, if we take a look at how many companies in the triangle area, which is where we are, that are going concerns, are profitable, that could be putting away money for the future for the owners, probably less than half of them actually have any kind of a retirement plan. Many business owners view the business as the best investment for their extra money. And so rather than building wealth apart from the business, they're just trying to grow the value of the business. And what we call that, and you know this as well as I, we call it a concentrated asset or concentrated position. And so from our perspective, if we were to recommend, hey, Mr. Client, I've got this great investment idea. I think you ought to put 100% of all of your savings into this idea because it's got great growth potential. That would be irresponsible of us. I think it's irresponsible of business owners to themselves and their families to not diversify their assets and holdings. And so, basically anyone who's got a business that's profitable, that meets their basic living needs to be saving for the time when they're not working anymore, and one of these retirement plan tools needs to be put in use.
Okay. In closing, when should somebody who's a business owner be reaching out to you or me or BSG in general?
As soon as you watch this video.
All right, there you have it.
If you're not profitable, we really can't help you. But if you're profitable and you have goals to send kids to college, to pay off the house, to be able to leave the workforce, then you should call us and talk to us about those goals and different tools and techniques and strategies we can use to get there. That's why we're the Business Owner Strategies Group. We're here to help business owners figure out what kind of strategies they can put in place to get more value out of their businesses more tax effectively.
All right. Thank you, Laird Hepburn
You're
with
welcome.
BSG Advisors. I'm Justin Struble with BSG Advisors, and we're not brokers, we're fixers.
That's right.